Hi there. Let me introduce myself. My name is Simon. I love to read and draw and play with my friends, and I like to go to the movies, and I also like to play at the park. Of course, I like to do many other things, but these ones are my most favorite. Sometimes I don't like school very much, but I think this is because I have difficulty concentrating and I have to pay attention a lot. You see, I have ADHD. That stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. It is a neurodevelopmental disorder that is 3 to 4 times more common in boys than girls. You may notice that I have trouble paying attention. I'm impulsive and I'm hyperactive. Although these behaviors may be typical in most young children, they are more severe for people like me that have ADHD. I'm not doing these things intentionally. So when my teachers adapt learning practices, it helps me to learn better. I get distracted very easily, and I might fidget or move around a lot. Sometimes I talk excessively, even when appropriate, like when my teacher's talking. Sometimes I also like to hum. Of course, she doesn't like when I do these things, but I can't stop myself, no matter how hard I try. There are times when my friends say I'm not very nice. They don't like when I take toys from them or when I don't wait my turn in line. But this is the ADHD. They don't seem to understand sometimes that it's hard for me to be patient and wait. I just get so bored, then don't think before I act. I really like when things are done my way. But come on, who doesn't? Maybe the other kids do not yell or sometimes hit when this happens. But I just can't seem to stop myself because I have trouble expressing my feelings like my friends are able to do. Sometimes I have really big feelings, and then I get loud and I do not listen. I sometimes kick things or throw things, and then I have to leave the room because I hurt others and act in unsafe and unacceptable ways. I don't want to do these things, but in the moment I just can't seem to stop myself. There are things my teachers do to help me make better choices. Like when my whole class has to sit on the carpet, my teacher sometimes gives me a ball to squeeze or a funny cushion to sit on. Sometimes she gives me putty to play with. I think I like the putty the best. Mrs. Preston will give me all sorts of work to help her during the day. I like when she does this. Some of the jobs I get to do are handing out work to kids, or I pick stuff up off the floor. Sometimes I'll sweep or push all the chairs in. Having little jobs to do makes it easier for me to stay on task and get my serious work done. I have a sticker chart at school. Every time I complete one of my jobs, I get a sticker. I also get stickers if I raise my hand instead of blurting out, or when I walk in class instead of run. Sometimes I forget, but Mrs. Preston tells me just to try my best and maybe I will get the sticker next time. Sometimes I get to take a break from class and go to a different room called sensory room. There's lots of exciting and fun things to do in there, and Mr. Jones, an educational assistant, is there. He'll play ball with me if I like, or I can bounce on this really big bouncy ball that you get to sit on. There's so many fun things to do in there. How my teachers treat me greatly impacts how my classmates will treat me. So even though that they sometimes will get angry with me or seem angry, it's always best when they're patient and tolerant. The class is likely to follow their lead, which is going to make me feel less alone. Mrs. Preston had a meeting with my parents and a resource teacher and an occupational therapist and a school counselor, and they all came together to create what they called an IEP. That's an independent education plan, and that was created just for me. Structure and flexibility are the best approaches to help me organize my thoughts and know what is expected. All my helpers need to come together to work together as a team. They work closely to strategize and come up with ways to help me be successful, not only in school, but in everyday life. There are many things my teachers do to help me. For example, I like to work with my friend Andy. So Mrs. Preston always lets us work together than with lots of other kids. I can focus better this way when it's just the two of us. And Andy always knows what to do next, so I just follow his lead. Mrs. Preston always has lots of fun and exciting items on the tables to help me learn. And every week it seems to be something different, which I like to have the change. When I'm done, I get to pick another thing to do. Sometimes I pick painting, sometimes I like to color, but I like it best when I get to choose. Sometimes I yell the answers out loud in class, even though I know I'm supposed to raise my hand. I just forget. I'm so excited I know the answer. Mrs. Preston will tap a picture she has on the board of a mouth with a finger over it going, shh. I like when she does this to remind us to be quiet because sometimes I forget. There are times when I hear a clock ticking and stand behind me tapping, and there are kids outside the window playing in the yard, and Mrs. Preston is telling the class something. I want to know why the clock is so loud, and I want to see what Sam is doing, and I see my friend Ashley in the yard running around. Mrs. Preston asks me then if I can go put caddies on the table. I sure am happy to get up and do something. When my brain is racing and I'm unsure what to do, Mrs. Preston has a special place in my classroom where I can take a break and do belly breathing or look at a book. The egg chair is the quiet corner where anyone in our class can have some time to themselves. I like the quiet area because my body can relax and my brain gets quiet. My teachers understand me and how I see the world. My whole team of helpers at school understand I know lots of things and know what I have to do. I only have difficulty doing what I know. I'm lucky, and it makes me very happy to have so many people at my school who care so much about me. I love school after all, and I love my teachers.